Hi, welcome back. We are on episode 37. Thank you for tuning back in.
Yeah, so on that morning, Yeshua is on the shore of the lake. He's by himself, and the surface of the lake is absolutely still. It's like a mirror. So for the first time, he's taking some time to look at himself.
I guess they didn't have mirrors back then.
No, I guess
well,
they should not have any. I mean, there could be some polished metal, but it will never be
yeah.
the quality that we have today. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You had to rely on good painters to know.
Yep.
Okay.
So he's looking at his face and he sees, a beard, which is now as long as his hair. And usually he likes to keep, everything well trimmed.
Yeah.
He also has his little pouch hanging from his neck, but the pouch is there, but it's empty now.
That's right.
Our audience may remember, the pouch contained a little crystal that was given to him by the extraterrestrial Elohim when he was 5 years old. And there was then the coin representing the King Solomon, right? That was given by his father when his father died. He teleported, but both those two items were returned to the monastery of Qumran.
But he still keeps the pouch?
But he had the pouch.
That's funny. Yeah, that's cute. Maybe energetically still.
And then he looks at his linen robe, it is still perfectly clean because he used the paramukta to remove all traces of stain and whatever, but it's completely worn out, And typically this would be of little importance to Yeshua, but on that day, he's wondering if his body, which is the temple of Awun, of God, right, should not be more pleasant to watch. And he realized that the past year, has been spent dedicating his energy to the integration of the Christic energy, And the two major initiations that he received, the one in the Great Pyramid in Egypt, and the second one on the Jordan River. And also those two initiations are creating a constant metamorphosis of his physical vehicle.
Yeah.
So it never stops. So he realized that he needs to take a break and breathe a little bit, He needs to slow down. Since he returned from Egypt after his long trip to Asia, he has been just, teaching, healing, his life has been completely crazy. So the cadence with which he's distributing the teaching, the healings, the traveling all over the country, then traveling to Jerusalem, to try to work out the issue with Yohanan, is taking a big toll on him. So, and he also needs to reflect on the souls who have accompanied him during that long journey in the east, to the east.
Well, you definitely need to recharge after everything he's doing and the people he's around. I mean, it can drain.
Right. So while meditating, he's looking at the surface of the lake, and some faces are appearing. The first one to appear is Yoshiram. And Yoshiram is his old buddy, traveling buddy, right? Who died somewhere near Benares, I think, in India. And then he sees Master Yamas, who was his main teacher in India. He sees also the face of Babaji. We know who Babaji is. He sees the face of Melkus and his camels.
He's revisiting everybody.
Yes, he's revisiting the people who have been, important to him. He sees Mataji, the sister of Babaji, the tantric goddess, who is alone in her meadow of light in the middle of the Himalayas. And even the young Indian girl Aruni, who was,
she had a crush on him.
She had definitely.
She was too young, but he had a crush.
And at that point, even the memory of previous lifetimes are coming back to him.
Oh my gosh.
And he sees the face of Zerahustar, who was like 1,500 years before his time.
Right.
So all these people are coming, jumping over times and lives. So, and he realized that despite being an avatar and having the full control of the paramukta, which are his
gifts that he has, where he creates things from
the powers, receiving the title of master and the blessed one, Yeshua's life is not an easy life, and large obstacles are always showing up in front of him.
That's why he needed all that training.
Yeah.
We need that training.
he's also thinking, that he's very grateful for what he has been receiving, but he realized that the immensity of his task would likely never be completed. And we know that it has not been completed.
No, still to
It
today.
actually went
Oh,
astray.
what's been done is horrific.
So, in that early hour, Yeshua is actually floating between gratitude for what he received, nostalgia, but an absolute confidence in the future and what he will be able to do.
That's nice.
Yeah. So while he was savoring all these emotions in Migdal, a group has been assembling around him.
Yeah.
As you know, he's always
I
surrounded.
know.
So a man came to Yeshua and tells him, he addresses him in a stern way, and he says, Rabbi, you pretend to be talking to the Eternal. You pretend addressing him as if he was your father. You pretend everything, in fact. But look at you. Don't you crap like everybody else?
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there are a few scandalized screams which are heard in the small group around Yeshua, and then
They were probably horrified.
then a very thick silence is heard. It's like entire nature is still, even the birds are broken.
Everybody stopped.
And Yeshua is not offended by these words. I'm sure he has heard, similar things. He only sees the infantile provocation of a soul stuck in its belief and life,
Right.
And he goes,
which is still happening today.
Yeah. And he responds, yes, my brother, it is true. I crap like you and like everybody else.
But I still get to talk to God, and so do you.
And he said, even the birds in the sky are submitted to that law, right? As we know. And so he addresses the man. Nothing is dirty in this world except the thoughts, the words, and the acts of the ones who want to soil and offend.
Oh boy, that was a good comeback.
And as far as the creation of my Father, who are you to judge what is noble or bad in it? Yeah, who is
Very
it?
good. Very good.
And he goes, everything is worth respecting, even that guano that you collect on the shore of this lake to spread in your garden as a fertilizer.
I wonder, how do you know about that?
So the man shrugs his shoulder, places his veil on his head, and he leaves the group.
Good.
And the crowd starts laughing, and mocking the man. But Yeshua stopped them. He says, okay, stop. Do you think he's the only one to ask me such questions? I know some here in the audience, in the group, who would have loved doing so, but did not dare.
They didn't have the nerve to do it.
And he said, learn how to honor everything, because it is the path to become the life with a capital L. And then somebody asked, Rabbi, do you speak about the eternal life? And Yeshua responds, there is no other life than the eternal life.
Let's get that straight.
So the following day, Yeshua is going to be led to a place called Gadara, which is on the southeast shores of the lake. And again, we're going to be posting a map so people can see where we go. And so that old city of Gadara is actually surrounded by rich meadows, which are contrasting with the other side of the lake.
The desert.
Yeah, the desert where, Migdal, Capernaum, and all these places are located. Yeah,
That's kind of neat. You get the desert and then beautiful lush. Yeah, it's nice.
So Yeshua has been called over there as a last resort about a man possessed by an evil spirit.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that story is being told in the scripture somewhere, but of course it has been
modified.
Yeah, tweaked a little bit. So we're gonna bring not the truth perhaps, but the memories of nature.
It just makes better sense.
It makes a lot more sense
for me, knowing who Yeshua was.
Yes. So there is a man living in a cave, and his rage and aggressivity are permanent and frightening. People are really afraid about it. So the group of Yeshua, Peter, Andrew, and Thomas are boarding a small boat and quickly crossing the lake to the place of Gadara. And actually, the funny stuff is that there is a very nice wind which is pushing them in the right direction very quickly.
What a coincidence.
What a wind. Yeah. When they arrive, there are 3 men who are waiting for Yeshua and his disciples. Obviously, they knew that he was coming,
Mm-hmm.
And one of the men says to Yeshua, "You know how to heal, Rabbi. A lot of people are saying it and we believe it." And he says, "The man has been taken by evil. He's about, 2,000 yards away. So it's a little bit of walking. He's frightening everybody. And he has been going on for a long time. Maybe you will be able to do something. We are ready to give up. I mean, we cannot handle it anymore." And then Yeshua goes, "You're giving up?" It's like, and then he goes, "And this man, is he giving up too?" And then one of the guy who basically received them says, "Why do you take his defense? You have never seen him. He bites and screams.
Wow.
Shaitan is in him."
Oh, wow.
Okay, so Shaitan is the old name for Satan.
Okay.
So we will use Shaitan. I guess people have to
Okay.
be used to the old names.
The old names, yes.
And Yeshua continues, "Listen to me. You believe that Shaitan is the opposite of the all-powerful, but it is false. Shaitan is simply the child of your freedom. It has no face. It is that force which is convincing man to say no when they should say yes.
Right.
It is egoism, it is pretension, and all the things that derive of them." So he's giving them a little course,
Right.
crash course. "Look at you and try to understand. Do you think Shaitan is foreign to you and your friends?
Well, he's knocking on the door whenever he can.
Yeah, if I came here, it is not for you," and he's looking at those 3 men, "in truth, but to free that poor man and to release him of a heavy weight he has been carrying for far too long."
Yeah.
So Yeshua, may have seemed a little bit brutal, but he doesn't like to say these things so harshly, but sometimes he has to do it because the people
Can
are
hear
not,
better.
yeah, the
But
people
it's
are not
harsh.
understanding, what's going on. So the whole group, 7 people basically, are walking to reach the place, and one of the men said, "It is here, Rabbi." And Yeshua sees a human silhouette come out of a cave in the rocks. And it was a man totally naked, covered with dirt, with long hair and beard.
Oh my gosh.
And one of his ankles is attached to the rock with a short chain. So he cannot move, more than a few
Well, no wonder
yards.
he's mad.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in a corner, there is a metallic bowl, probably for food, something that they bring to him. And then another container full of fecal matters, And the stench is everywhere, and the flies are buzzing all around. So Yeshua tells to the group, "Wait for me here." And he's going down the staircase leading to that cave, And of course, as Yeshua gets closer, the man starts screaming.
Could you imagine?
Like a wild roar.
Those things are watching him come. They're like, "Oh no."
And as
He's gonna take us out.
Yeshua gets closer to him, the screams are getting even louder, to a point where it's
deafening.
Yeah. And finally, when Yeshua is close to the man, he starts walking toward him, and he's stopped by the length of the chain. So he wants to get close to that man to really, he wants to get close to Yeshua,
To get him.
scare him.
Yeah.
And to get him. But the length of the chain is stopping him. And Yeshua noticed that his ankle is bleeding and totally infected by the metallic brace. The man is probably trying to pull on it so many times.
Yeah.
And one of the guy stayed on the top of the stairs, say, "Do not get closer, Rabbi. He bites even the people who feed him."
Oh my gosh.
It's biting him. So as Yeshua gets closer to the man starts backing up, which is interesting. So there is something what is in it. And Yeshua used a very loud voice and very strong voice, and he says, "What is your name? Give me your name."
Oh, he wants the entity's name.
Yes. And there is no response. And the man is drooling, and Yeshua asks again, "What is your name?" And as Yeshua asks, he feels a cold flow of energy leaving his chest and being jettisoned to the man. Okay, something is happening. And then suddenly the man starts responding. He's vociferating and he says, I am multitude.
Mm.
And he's doing some obscene gesture with it,
Yeah.
Anyway, well,
Whatever that was.
I am multitude.
Oh, that's scary. There's a lot of them in there. Mm.
So Yeshua sits on a large stone, about 5 feet away from the man. He's trying to observe what is happening. And the man is standing arrogant, and still with obscene gesture and screaming. And Yeshua goes, you're not coming closer. Are you afraid, multitude? And one of the group, says, do not stay here, Rabbi. And of course, Yeshua is not concerned at all. He knows that the eternal is inside him, He's
protected.
He's completely protected.
Right.
The idea of fear is ridiculous to him. Yeah.
Right. Should be to all of us.
And he's proving it, actually, because he's sitting next to the man, within the reach of that man, possessed man. But the man is actually going backward, And Yeshua asked the group who stayed behind, go and get me a pot of water. And at that point, Yeshua is observing the man. And again, he's not observing him physically. He goes beyond that, And he's observing 3 gray shapes, which are constantly moving, And they are attached to the man who is starting to scream again. And those 3 shapes are moving in all directions, They are like 3 wild animals, which would be contained in a small cage.
Oh my gosh, the poor guy.
Yeah. So there are basically 3 entities, attached to that man.
And they're probably fighting each other and fighting him.
And making him crazy. Yeah. And this is why they call themselves multitude, because there are more than one. And Yeshua immediately gets the content, the origin of that stuff. And it was 3 souls, which were at the level of the beast, very primitive level, 3 souls complicit, coming from a universe which had not even reached the dawn of our own universe.
Oh, so wow, they're kind of reaching in just, ooh.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think people we know the universe as it is today, but there are multiple universes, right? Which we have no clue about them yet. But they're all constantly evolving.
Right.
And somehow those 3 souls have escaped from that very primitive and primal universe and came here. So 3 souls in suffering, like embryos, which have been searching for a vehicle and found that human vessel so that they could experience what is air, what is sunshine, and what is to be a human
touch,
being.
feel, and see.
Yeah.
Except they weren't doing it very nicely.
And then Yeshua is thinking about, what did it take to have such possession come inside you? And he realized that the possession happens when there is a lot of hatred, when there is a very deep greed also, an incredible need for revenge, and a strong need for power. And all those things, linked to wound that you carry from another lifetime.
Is this guy a politician?
Well, it could be, but it makes you wonder about, our so-called elite, right?
I know. I mean,
greed, power, revenge, hatred.
Yes, and that gets you. That energy is what these things feed off of, right?
Yes.
And so they were attracted to it. They say, "Oh, here I am. I'm going to feed off of this vessel right now."
Yep.
Yeah.
So Yeshua realized this was a rendezvous with darkness, which had been created at that point. When you put all those elements together, then you become a funnel and actually a welcome place for all these low-level entities and poorly developed entities. And at that point, Yeshua could not do anything else than show a lot of infinite compassion in front of such pain and suffering for that man. And he knows what has happened. Those 3 souls wanted to have the experience of the flesh, but way too early. And I think this is something that is rarely mentioned and rarely studied. Absolutely not in the scriptures, but before taking the control of a physical vessel, the soul has to mature by itself as a pocket of energy.
Right.
Okay. And then when it is mature enough and when it is wise enough, then it is given the opportunity to inhabit a physical vessel made of flesh. So those three souls, try to cut corners basically, and they wanted to pierce the veil of their own universe. They were devoid of consciousness, unaware of the balance which has to be respected between light and darkness. And they wanted to finally revel, in the lust of the illusion of power, trying to reinvent the order of life, without even knowing what it is to life, to live. So it's
on this planet. Right.
And other planets, So Yeshua is not questioning their presence. I mean, he knows the mechanisms that is allowing all this stuff,
Right.
And I think it's important for our audience to say that the concept of possession was not very common 2,000 years ago. Now it has been, popularized through movies and books and stuff like that. But at that point, people did not understand exactly what was possession. But Yeshua knows the mechanisms. And he's thinking that only a tsunami of love and the complete absence of bargaining, because you don't want to bargain with those creatures, could disinfect their presence. So he's still observing the three moving shapes. He's trying to find the point of anchor, because that's what
where you can cut the
that's what an exorcist always try to do. You have to find a point of anchor where those souls are attaching to the physical vehicle. And he realized that all those three masses, which are constantly dancing around the man, are actually attached to his throat.
Oh my gosh.
And that probably explained why he was vociferating
throat chakra,
and screaming like that. And so Yeshua actually stands up, he walks to the wild man, and he grabs him by the throat, with his hand around his throat. And he says, multitude, multitude, I'm calling you, and you will follow me. And at that point, he's sucking through his arm the three souls, and he's feeling a ferocious vacuum, like a cold energy.
Oh, they were fighting going in there.
And then he's direct this energy to his heart, and he sends it to his father, to our womb, for transmutation.
That's amazing. He took that into him.
Yes.
That's a elevated human being.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I don't know.
I would not do that.
I don't know many exorcists who could do that.
Yeah.
So in front of him, the poor man, trembles and finally collapses and falls on the ground. Finally free after so many years of being possessed, And Yeshua asks, bring me the water. And he closes his eyes and he places his hand in the water and he releases the three souls in the water.
Okay.
That's what it is. So he's thinking all is done at that point, the purified souls which have been transmuted by his heart and by God are now
placed in the water.
Basing in the water.
So now it's safe to put them somewhere. Yeah.
So Yeshua is asking Thomas to help the man, and so because the man is, is naked and everything. So Thomas is giving him his coat, and they also free him from his shackle, And one of the men from Gadara is asking, are you sure, Master? And Yeshua responds, you will see it for yourself. The man is absolutely fine now. The evilness in him is now gone. And after a while, the man starts recovering his human consciousness, and at that point, Yeshua blesses him with a little bit of salt, to welcome him back to the world of human beings. And before boarding the sailboat, Yeshua asked his disciples to start a little fire, and they placed the pot containing the water and the three souls on the fire.
Oh, I guess they're getting evaporated?
Yes, and they are waiting for all the water to boil and to evaporate. Okay. Yes, and good. This is the point.
Right.
So there it is now. It has been officially and really completely finished, So what I wanted to say is that unfortunately in the scripture, the story was modified. And instead of the water, the scribes or whoever wrote that story, they used a flock of pigs, I think, a herd of pigs.
Oh, okay.
And they said that Yeshua put the soul of those creature, the bad, evil spirit,
Right.
into those pigs.
Oh,
And those pigs in turn, decided to rush to the lake and drown themselves in the lake,
okay.
as if the energy of Satan,
Right.
was fearful of drowning or fearful
Right.
of water.
Right. Mhm.
So, I mean, it's unfortunate that this story has been modified in this way, but anyway.
Because it's always about sacrificing.
Yes,
You know,
we're gonna
that's
talk about
okay.
that. Yeah.
Mhm.
So few people understand that the energy must be balanced. Okay, what is the use of transferring evil energy from a man to an
Right.
animal? Right.
Right.
I mean, it's not good. I mean, bad energy should not be transferred from one physical vehicle to another physical vehicle.
Right. Unless you know what you're doing.
Yes. And
Then you
again,
can transmute it afterwards.
I don't want to criticize openly, but this is the technique of what they call the scapegoat mechanism.
Yes.
Dear to the Hebraic religion, where they
Yeah.
they basically
Put all the
load,
sins
put
on.
all this. I mean, they
yeah.
slaughter one animal, and then they put all the sins on the other animal, which is then released to go free and do whatever it can.
It's so hard for me to understand that.
So, what is the purpose of relieving man to place his burden on an animal?
Right.
Both are brothers in the eye of the
Mhm.
Creator, in the
Mhm.
eye of God, and one is not worth more than the other.
I'd love to know who came up with that. Oh, I guess it was Yahweh or something. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Because both are coming from the same point in the infinite, and both will return to it once they have matured, thanks to each other.
Right.
I mean, animals need humans to mature, and we need them also
Right.
to mature as well. Yeah. So, killing animals to save humans has never been and will never be a solution. And this is what Yeshua is saying. You beings have to respect life.
Well, that's why he came.
Yes.
To tell us that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's sad to say, but this quest for power never worries the spirit, right? The quest pretends to know and respect when in fact it goes around the fundamental principles of respecting life.
Right.
Yeah. So again, people are free to believe what they want. They can believe the story, which has been modified, or they can believe what we are telling them, coming from the memories of nature. And it makes more sense to me.
Like his story.
Yeah.
Right?
His or their
story.
Yeah.
Wherever the victors are.
Because of what happened in Gadara, Yeshua is going to teach his disciple about evil and the bad, and because for them it's difficult to understand, this possession, the mechanism of possession. It refers to a shadowy presence, but the disciples have a hard time understanding or accepting it, which for us now is more
right. Yeah.
I mean, it's like when we talk about UFOs, right? In that time, they call them clouds or luminous clouds.
Oh, luminous
or
clouds.
burning bushes.
Right.
Because they didn't have the concept of a levitating vehicle glowing in the night. Right?
It's interesting, too, because we've seen some when we've gone to, I think it was Lourdes, where we saw some UFO kind of looking painted
in
right
the paintings,
on,
yes.
right on the wall.
Yep. So he's telling his disciple, in the same way the cold could not be warm or the night could be the day, they needed to know that there is no space so dark that it cannot be visited and healed by love. Yeah. So love is always the
answer.
Triumphing. Yep. And so Yeshua realized, that this is still very difficult for them to understand, and he decides instead of trying to describe what is evil, he decides to say, okay, let's talk about ignorance, because ignorance is really expressing the bad, and it's being the root of evil, and we know that so well.
So true.
Yeah.
Words of wisdom.
And he says to his disciple, my role is to help you. And I think it's very important. And I think we should insist on what is being going to say now by Yeshua. He said, my role is to help you get out of what has been forgotten and out of the dream that is supposed to be life. So he's already calling life a dream. Okay. So believe me, the ultimate redemption cannot be anything else than coming from you and your work.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all about inner work.
Yeah. And he continues saying, I am showing you a key. I am showing you a lock. But it is up to you to use them and to push the door open. I cannot do it for you.
Yep. It's all about us. It's
Mhm.
all about coming in
Yeah,
here.
it's all about us
Right.
doing the work, you know.
Right.
He's showing us how to do it,
Right.
what to aspire for,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to do the bulk of the work. And then, of course, Eleazar asked, Master, when do you think we will be able to push the door open, that famous door? And Yeshua responds,
cute.
you know, when you drink the sun and you are full of light.
Mm.
So that's his typical expression, you know,
He
to
always goes
drink the
back to
sun.
the sun, doesn't he?
To have the sun inside you, you know, living
Mhm.
inside you. So after this episode, you know, the day after, he's with Miriam, his mother, and he meets Sarah, who is the youngest sister.
Oh, wow. He's
And
just meeting her.
he had no recollection of what she looked like when an infant, because I
Right.
think she was born while he was away. Yeah, so.
Mhm.
But in front of him is a beautiful young woman, already married,
Oh, wow.
and she lived with her husband near the town of Tiberiad. And again, you know, the map indicates where Tiberiad is located. And she's tending a field there. So they are growing some vegetables and cereals. And Sarah immediately tells Yeshua that she will not be able, like her brothers, you know, Judah and Judas, yeah, to follow his teachings. And she said, my husband is not approving of that behavior, and he needs me to take care of the field.
Mhm.
And so Yeshua, you know, hearing that, he takes his sister in his arms and he said, you know, my sister, there are many ways to walk in this world. And I understand that your way will not be using your legs to follow me. So,
okay. Do we find out how it is?
in you,
Okay.
I see that the love you have for this little piece of land, your little field, has already started to move you. And Yeshua is also seeing something else that he's not telling her. He's seeing that she will soon be a widow.
Oh.
Yeah, but it doesn't tell her.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we will see her later on. I mean, she will play an important role in the life of Yeshua. So after Sarah, Yeshua takes his mother in his arms. You know, it's like the little family reunion. And Miriam, the mother, confided that she no longer considered Yeshua as her son, but herself as his disciple.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
She said, you know, you're changing too much. I mean, you're too powerful. You exude so much energy. You know, I cannot see you as my son. Yeah. And Yeshua understand that the constant physical changes of his body, you know, this kind of metamorphosis that he constantly is going through, even his voice changing, are creating some fears among his close family members. I mean, the Christic energy through his body is always pushing him to do things, you know.
It's a powerful force.
That may take him actually a little bit too far.
Yeah.
And inside Yeshua himself, you know, there is some kind of remnants of his ego. And he's a little bit afraid to be totally transformed and irreversibly morphed.
Well, it's scary.
Yeah,
I mean, wouldn't it be a scary thing? Because you don't know what's going to end up.
Right. Yeah.
And like, do I really lose complete sight of myself? Like, you know, who I am.
So there, from time to time, there is, you know, a little hint from his ego or from his former.
Very understandable.
Yeah, former personality, you know.
Right.
And then we learn about another brother of Yeshua, well, we didn't know before, that came to him, and his name is Jacob.
Oh.
And he will become the Jacques from the Compostelle.
Oh,
yes,
St. James.
St. James, and then James, in the Bible, in English, So that Jacob has been actually sent sailing through the world. Uncle Yusuf, you know, used him as part of his fleet, you know, to navigate and meet different people. And James, or Jacob, went to Greece at that point, you know. And Jacob had a big desire for adventure and to explore different culture. He's very curious, you know. And quickly he will join Yeshua and become one of his closest disciples. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if
Good.
he wrote any specific gospel. I'm sure he did.
Yeah, I'm
something
sure
like
he
that,
did. Oh, yeah, he did. Of
yeah.
course,
He did, yeah.
he did.
And another point which may not be known is that Jacob is also very appreciative of the numerous women which are in the group, and he enjoyed their company a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he was out and about and probably was
Yeah,
with
he
so
was.
many different people
Mhm,
and
yeah.
enjoyed that. Yeah.
So one day Jacob asks Yeshua, is it possible to not believe in the eternal master? And Yeshua responds, after a little bit of thinking, he says, one can say that they believe in nothing. In fact, the nothing is very close to all or to everything. Nothing and everything cannot be defined or delineated.
Some words sketchy.
Yeah, that's
Me
a
too.
difficult one. Delineated, yeah. And the eternal is the infinite, and the infinite is full of nothing. It is impossible to express it.
Mm.
And so, now that we have a better understanding about physics and the nature of matter,
Right.
we can see that it is actually the same. Because, we think about matter in terms of atoms, right?
Right.
But an atom is made of a tiny nucleus
Right.
surrounded by electrons, which are at an enormous distance from the nucleus, right?
Mhm.
And so between those electrons and the nucleus, there is really nothing. But still, that nothing is making the whole.
Right.
Right.
It's making something.
Yeah. So something to think about.
Right.
So Yeshua is going to watch his disciple and realize that there are at that day 108 of them, which is a sacred number, the number that is linking the Essenian community with the Elohim being the extraterrestrial presences. And Yeshua know that certain pieces of the group, are going to leave, but others will come and join. So it's a constant motion and flux,
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like the core group, the core number is 108 of them, yeah. And watching all these people, praying and meditating is full of gratitude for this group of brave souls, and that makes him very happy. And finally, as a side note, after many hesitations, another member joins, Levi, which is known under the name of Matthew.
Oh, okay.
Finally joins Yeshua's group,
Mm-hmm.
And Levi has a question for Yeshua. He says, Master, should I drop my work of tax collector to join you and listen to your words? Should I do that? And Yeshua tells him, no. You have a family, Levi. What will they eat if you stop working, right? Mm-hmm. Follow me, but stay in the world and do not collect more than what the Romans are asking.
Uh-oh.
Because Levi used to collect more than what the Romans
skimming
were
asking. Off the top.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. So listening that, Levi sings a little bit, and he pulls out of his belt a pouch full of coins. Mm-hmm. And he goes, here it is, Master. These men and women who are following you, they need to eat too.
Oh, wow.
This money does not belong to me. Oh. So that was the extra money he had taken, because he had to pay the Romans.
He's trying to absolve himself of that. Yeah.
So the interesting thing is that only Peter and his brother Andrew were witness to this exchange between Levi and Yeshua. And they needed that to heal the resentments they had, very strong resentment they had against Levi.
Oh, that's good. So Yeshua was really kind of helping them release that, because it's not good to have that either.
So, days passes, and a week later, after expressing to Awun, God, his gratitude for the group of disciples, a terrible news happens. Yohanan, John the Baptist, had been executed following Herod's orders. So at that point, Yeshua takes a deep breath and closes his eyes, despite the sun living in his heart and his chest, It is very painful to hear that. Yeah. And though he goes, he made a little poem, which is very difficult to translate, but he says, Oh, Hawun, and you, my brother, what is the secret that made you so mysterious? And the secret is execution. You know, may this enigma be blessed. I accept it. I accept this execution. You know, the bad news, for the sacred pain that makes me grow even more.
Oh. Wow.
So that's it for episode 37. The next episode will be talking about something which is that you will never read about in the scripture.
Well, a lot of things we will
Yeshua is actually having a meeting with the Elohims, and he's invited to board a UFO.
Ooh. Oh, you're leaving us on that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we hope you tune back in, and we'll see you next time.